Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest, episode 50. Quickie note for anyone that's watching, I will be out of town on March the 5th, so for the next digest, I will not be here, I will not be able to see that Devstream, and I will not be able to provide a recap. So another heads up, because I'm going out of town yet again. Life is getting very complicated. It's not for fun. Maybe. Partially. Anyway, let's move on. So, today we'll be going over Devstream 69, hold in the giggles, on Digest 50. I'm giggling after. And anyway, what did they talk about this time? A bunch of random and interesting things. So, what can we start off? Right off the gate, they talked about Oberon! The deluxe Oberon skin has been revealed. They even revealed the actual make and model. So this is already in the works. It's being finalized, it's being processed. We have no idea when it's coming out. They've already shown us the Banshee deluxe skin, and there still is no ETA on these deluxe skins. They are still in the works. Some of them are practically done in the finishing stages and all, just no release date as we know it. And talking about having no release date, as we know, MAG! MAG is getting a well-deserved and well-earned rework. It is currently in development, and they are already playtesting it and conceptualizing most of it. They will show some footage and playtest it on the next stream in the next 2 weeks. Maybe, potentially, possibly. They also talked about 18.5 being in early March, so we're not going to be getting it within these next few weeks. It is still being processed and fine-tuned, so expect some more 18.4 point something until then. And another thing they've also showed off that really is refreshing, because we have not seen anything for a pretty long time, are the Kavats. The Kavats finally have some actual working animations that they are previewing and showing off early on. You can see here the Kavat idle animation. It is very interesting. It is pretty much what you expect a cat to look like, and it seems a lot more lively and more personal than the Kuburos. You also see the movement. The movement is very interesting. It has a lot of fluidity. They said that they want the head tracking for the Kavats to always be figurative on the player, so there's more of a connection. It looks like they're really looking forward and looking onto you for guidance, and also the combat animations. And that is pretty terrifying for a cat. They talked about the Kavats having some variances to their heads and tails. Currently, the idea is somewhere around 5 head variants and about 3 or 5 tail variants. So, no idea what those variants are. We did see some ideas before. They will be showing off the Pharaoh and the Grenier Kavats in 18.5, so they will be introduced finally into the game, much like the Kuburos. We'll be getting the enemy versions before we get the Tenno versions, so we'll see how that happens. Another thing that's coming out in 18.5 is the moon. The moon is getting a massive expansion to it that it has pretty much very strict necessity or dire need for. The moon right now only has 3-4 nodes. That's how little I've actually looked into it. And the moon has literally no value currently to its gameplay. It is very interesting to see the tile set. It is interesting to see the hidden rooms and how the enemies react there. The sentients are there, but it's not enough. They will be diversifying it with spy missions on the moon that will have a very interesting puzzle cracking mechanic with that in form of dimensional shifts. As you can see throughout these slides, they're showing 2 pictures of the same room. One pre-moon collapse and one post-moon collapse. So one before we pull it out of the void and one after we pulled it out of the void, which caused a lot of destruction and damage throughout the tile set. It will come into play to solving these spy missions and finding the vaults. There will be a lot of hidden little things that we have to figure out, and it will be interesting to see this sort of dynamic and this weird sense of double shift planes in the game. Maybe this will be incorporated somewhere more, maybe in actual void towers, who's to say. But it is very interesting and very out of left field when it comes to mission diversity and new mechanics. Talking about new mechanics, they will be providing a massive lighting boost that will increase the graphical fidelity of the game in some point 18.5. They did say this will be coming out as a 3 GB patch, so it's going to be big, and it will be worth it for higher end machines. And for lower end machines, this will make it a lot easier for some of the processing and all the environmental doodads to go on. They also showed off a little bit of a teaser from the Star Chart 2.0 UI. This was shown on Vine, this was shown on Twitter, but now it's actually formally being addressed on the Devstream, so a lot more people are aware of it. It is interesting, it is more reminiscent of Star Chart 1, so it's one of the more older things that a lot of people miss and reminisce. And they talked about the dark sectors being completely changed in their entirety. It's not going to be so much clan versus clan, it'll be clan supports clan, but with some competitive aspects to it. The dark sectors will be redefined as the Bermuda Triangle of the star chart, so they won't be located where they are already. And they did talk about exploration, rewards, helping and assisting one another, other clans. And what I'm curious about is the exploration aspect. What are we exploring? How can we keep exploring? There is a finite definition to this. How are they going to provide more exploration to something that's so finite? So I'm very curious on what this Bermuda Triangle is. And we also have some gimmicky little interesting details that are still very, very fun to see on the dev build. You can see here there's smoke. Smoke will be a thing. It will not just be what it was already, which is low definition. They will be rendering it in particle effects, so it's a lot more defined and a lot more realistic. And also added to that realism, when you collide with it or cause any sort of explosion or force to go through the smoke, you will see them move. Oh, so pretty, so futuristic, so now. And also another thing they are showing off is skin deformation technology, something that a lot of games tend to already have, but they're going to be adding it to the operators. This level of skin detail will actually provide a lot more detail to the players, to the operators, to pretty much the environment, the world, and to the cinematics, giving everything a lot more depth, a lot more connection, and emotional fidelity that the game needs overall, one way or another, possibly, potentially, most likely. And also, something that has me spastic is melee holster diversity. As you can see here, the Skana is equipped on, what's this? On the right hip? Where is it going? It's on the left hip. But what if I want it on my back? You can put it on your back as well. This holster diversity isn't just visual, it is visual. And it has some functionality as well. Mechanically, it won't do anything, but it will do a lot of interesting unsheathing and resheathing mechanics or visual animations or things like that, which can provide a lot more personality to the Tennos and their characters, giving everyone a lot more of a connection and bond. This is something very little, but it means so much, and you won't have everyone running around with a giant Jekka tag on their back. If I want my hammer on my waist, I will have my hammer on my waist. And they also showed off round 2 of Tennogen that will be implemented into the game. As you can see, there are a bunch of skins, models, rework, and helmets being implemented to some favorite Warframes and some not so favorite Warframes. But most of these Warframes do need attention and love and detail. Chroma getting two alternative helmets from Tennogen is very interesting. Mag getting some acknowledgement and love is always fun. We're getting some for we're getting one for Necros actually. We're also getting some for Zephyr, which Zephyr actually needs a lot of detail and attention to. She has been very well neglected, and so on and so forth. And all these are top-notch quality from the community overall. I'm very excited and ecstatic to see some of them. I will be buying some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And the previous tease of the 18.5 Warframe, the sarcophagus. That was teased before. Yes, it is a sarcophagus. How do I know this? Because this is the Warframe, and that is a mummy. That is very bizarre. Bizarre. Very weird. And this will be the mummy frame. No idea what the name is yet. And they did say that his mechanics will be very interesting. I have a lot of critique when it comes to this Warframe because it already is expanding on a category we already have of a summoner, which Necros needs a lot more attention and love before we go to a second summoner, but oh well, that's another thing. I digress. The mummy will be having 0 shields, so you have no protection. It's all health, guys. It's all health. But don't worry, his powers will also revolve around lifesteal and minions. So, wow. Scott already has said that playtesting with this Warframe, he is ridiculously overpowered. They will be scaling down some of the lifesteal and some of the minion damage because he is way too much. But that's not going to stop the community from grabbing him and destroying the meta regardless. His ultimate will be reliant on health P drain. You will be sacrificing health to do some sort of damage or some sort of power. And the pre-death will And the pre-death, which is pretty much the last stand or help, I need a revive, will be that of being in a sarcophagus. So instead of saying, help, I've fallen, I can't get up, it's like, help, I'm in a box and I want to. And his quest will be in Phobos. Kind of fitting for a mummy, don't we think? And talking about mummies, things that are long dead and forgotten, the Twin Queens. They have said that the new cinematic quest that will be expected at some point this year will revolve around the Twin Queens. No idea what that is, no details, nothing to be an inkling of hope or any disparity or words. Where was I going with that? But the Twin Queens will be the focus for the cinematic quest, seeing them introduced into the game properly and finally revealed properly and having some sort of placement in the world properly is well long deserved, because we've heard about the Twin Queens for so many years now, and it's something that just needs to be said and done. So, what do you guys think of all these things? Are you excited for the Oberon skin? Are you excited for some of the Tenogen Round 2 winners? Are you excited for the Moon expansion, the Kavats, or 18.5 and all its goodies? Tell me in the comment section down below what's the most anticipated little thing for you. And remember guys, have fun, take it easy, and see you guys in game.